Hey chaps, welcome back to the channel. Today we have got some Prussian Brandenburg Uhlans to paint up. So these are from the Warlord Games Epic range. If you've got them or haven't, they come on a sprue with the Landwehr infantry, and you also get some Uhlans to go with it. And so I've just painted them up in a few different uniforms. So these ones being the Brandenburgs. We start off with a dark blue tunic using midnight blue from Game Colour. It's a pretty similar uniform to their line infantry to a certain extent, at least by the sort of 1813 to 1815 period. Earlier uniforms were slightly different, but just a general rule. By this period they tend to be dark blue, grey trousers, and then a different colour facing red, yellow, pink, etc. But these miniatures, they do have a pretty reasonable bit of detail on them, so yeah, I'm happy with how they look. The trousers and the horses, I used uniform grey from Army Painter. For whatever reason the footage didn't actually record properly. And then we use leather brown from Game Colour to do the lance poles and any wooden parts that we see on the horses. As you can also see, I did the manes in white. So it has actually been quite fun digging into the Prussians. And to be honest, if you're looking for an army that's easier to paint, Prussians, I would say, would be a good starter army. The British, with all of the red and then white crossbelts, that takes quite a lot of doing. Looks great when they're done, but it does take a bit of doing. Whilst the Prussians don't have quite so much of that. It's a smart but simple uniform, so it's a very good starter army if you ask me. Next up we go over the metal areas, so the lance heads, scabbards, etc. And we're using silver from Game Colour. And the Game Colour ranges I do actually like a lot. This silver does move over the miniatures pretty easily. It doesn't dry out and go lumpy. Yeah, it just works nicely. Very smooth, so good colour to use. If you're wondering why I use brighter colours, on the smaller miniatures I like to use a slightly lighter shade of paint on the minis, just because then when I put the darker wash on, usually it's a dark brown wash later on, it dulls it all down, so that's why I just use the brighter colour. And then also because I'm trying to speed paint the miniatures, for highlighting at the end, I will then just go back in with the original colours rather than trying to use something different. So for me it's about getting good quality but in a reasonable time period, rather than outstanding quality but taking exponentially longer. Next up we've got Flat Flesh from Tamiya Colour. Again, it's the one I use on all of the miniatures I do. Just make sure you do water it down or use a bit of flow improver, otherwise it can go lumpy. We live in a great time where you do have the internet, so whenever you come to paint your miniatures, it's very easy to find different source material. On one of my videos about French infantry, someone commented, "Oh, they're too pale. The blue is too light." That's an individual thing. If it was a brand new uniform, yes it would be. However, there are accounts that within weeks, because of the fact that the dyes would fade because they weren't modern dyes, most of the uniforms would be quite pale, especially in the summer. So, and I've seen images here, there and around which corroborate that. So it's entirely up to you how you paint your miniatures, and there's source material basically to back you up one way or the other. And that pretty well brings us to the end of the tutorial. And there we have our Brandenburg Lancers, or Uhlans. Now I found they were good quality. The detail does stand out nicely, so it's easy to paint and pick out the parts that you want. So yeah, double thumbs up from me for Warlord Games Prussians. And I can't wait to get a few more of these guys on the table ready to ride down some of the French. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.